Good morning, Jacksonville.
Good morning, everyone.
We're here in Jacksonville, about to start our day and go to Mayo Clinic.
Mayo Clinic.
Yeah, I'm lightheaded.
We sucked the helium out of the balloons my mom gave me last night.
I don't know, what are you doing? Are you being just a pooch? A pooch? Just a pooch? Hello, those are my balloons.
Gotta do your daily breathing treatments, all 4 of them. Squirt in the albuterol to open my airways and the cromulin to stabilize my mast cells. Shut it, turn it on. Ta-da! I don't want to whip. This is how we burn Harlow's energy when we're stuck in a hotel with no outdoor running area. Good girl. So not only am I temperature sensitive, but my medication is too. Like, my infusion bags have to be kept in the fridge, and we are leaving the hotel now to go to Mayo Clinic all day. So Judd got this cooler, we're gonna fill it with ice and put the bags in there, and all of my heparin and saline flushes. But then I have my IV medication, which says do not refrigerate, but we can't leave it in the car either, so we're just gonna bring it with us inside. So yeah, traveling with temperature sensitive medication can be kind of tricky, but you just gotta be smart and plan ahead. And don't forget to take your pills 5 times a day. Speaking of temperature sensitive meds, EpiPens have a temperature threshold, so we're bringing all 6 with us inside. And then this is my other temperature sensitive medication. So there's so much we have to bring in. Judd's using his backpack to hold it all like a small pharmacy. And he's putting ice in the cooler right now. Then we're headed to Mayo Clinic. Thank you, babe.
Welcome.
You're too close. Alright, well, we are at Mayo. Today I have 2 appointments. The first one is with my neurologist, who I originally went to last year for my migraines, but thankfully he also turned out to be a hypermobility specialist because he's the doctor who figured out I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disease in which my body cannot produce collagen properly, and that's the most abundant protein in your body that holds you together like glue. Without it, everything is kind of loose and stretchy, and my joints are very affected. I have hypermobile type, and my joints have way too far a range of motion, and I often deal with dislocations and subluxations, which are partial dislocations, and I have chronic joint pain from that. And one of my big issue areas is my neck, and because it's so hypermobile, that's what's actually causing my migraines and inflammation and tension and pain in this area all the time. And something I'm doing for the first time today is I'm getting Botox. This doctor finally convinced me to do it. I'm getting a special hypermobility protocol for people with EDS. And it's supposed to help with my migraines so I can get off the really strong preventative medication I'm on for my migraines, and it's supposed to help with the pain I have here. So I'm really nervous for the 27 needle jabs in my head, and I also, like, he said my eyebrow might get stuck like this for a few weeks.
You might look surprised for a few weeks.
But it'll wear off. However, I don't know if I can get it because of the anaphylaxis. Obviously, I have to mention that to him before we start, but I talked to my own neurologist at home, and she said it should be fine. So anyways, then I see my internist, which is, just think of it like an advanced general practitioner. I haven't been to Mayo since all my allergy issues started, so I'm gonna obviously give them all the testing results and hospital notes and all the details from that, plus just a basic overview of how my medical life has been since I last saw her, and then she'll decide where to go from there within Mayo, refer me out. We are really early to the appointment, so we're just gonna chill in the car a bit, and then we are gonna head to my appointments. Well, here we are, the Canada building where my neurologist is. So we're here in Mayo, in the Canada building, Jacksonville location. I'm just like getting really nervous to do the Botox. I hate needles, even though I deal with them all the time, like and whatnot.
And you have one in your chest like 24/7 now.
Yeah. The other thing is the port. I love Mayo. They have helped me so much, but there are some departments and doctors that are great, and then we've also had really bad experiences here. One thing I've noticed is that some treatments, Mayo just like across the board agrees they're not okay with, and one of them has been infusions. Every doctor I've seen, when I told them, you know, my home care team has agreed I need a port to get infusions, they were all like, no. And I haven't been here since I got my port in December, so I'm kind of worried about what the doctors are going to say, but I was confident in my choice, and all my, you know, my POTS specialist, he's not connected with Mayo, supported me getting the port for sure, and the infusions are for my POTS, so confident and happy with it. It's significantly improved my quality of life, and now we can do the IV Benadryl, which is like saving me with my anaphylaxis, but still, it's kind of nerve-wracking. Like, I don't want a doctor to harass me about it, but I'm just gonna be strong and confident in myself, advocate for myself. Plus, I'm not here to talk about my port anyways. And I got Judd. He's always really good at sticking up for me. So, just trying to build up the confidence to go up there and check in and get the Botox done. I forgot my mask in the car. Should definitely have that, but I'm not gonna die. I am checked in. Judd's here. Fist bump. We got this. I'm really nervous again. My stomach is in knots. I hate waiting. Like, yeah, I can do this, and then I get really nervous, so just waiting for the confidence to come back. At least Harlow's relaxed.
I'm relaxed.
Good for you, babe. We're in the exam room. Judd made a good point saying, like, one of my biggest pain complaints is always my neck, and if this is something that might help my pain there, I shouldn't be so nervous to do it. And
we can take car trips.
yeah, car trips always exacerbate my neck pain, so I hate them.
And I like to drive.
The nurse just came in and talked with us, answered some of my questions, and I'm feeling more at ease, and my confidence is coming back. Yay! Upswing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was so weird.
You didn't get the Botox.
No, he said that we're literally would be putting a toxin into my body, which is not a good idea since my allergies and anaphylaxis is not under control. So instead we did a nerve block where 2 needles go up into my neck where the inflammation is, and they put lidocaine and a steroid. That was weird and a little bit painful, but it was just a lot of pressure and my ears felt weird, and then I got really lightheaded and almost passed out with the first one on the right where the inflammation is worse, and then the one on the left I remembered to breathe and I didn't almost pass out. They put oxygen on me, which helped a lot, and then I'm just laying down trying to get less dizzy. And so what this is supposed to do is stop the inflammation here in the nerves in the C1 and C2 vertebrae, which is the top in your neck, that have a lot of inflammation there due to the hypermobility, and it's supposed to help with something called cervicogenic dizziness, which is dizziness caused by this pinching down on nerves and sending incorrect signals to your inner ears where your balance center is. It's supposed to help with the inflammation, pain, and that stuff. So it's usually lasts like 3 to 5 days and kicks in within 24 hours, but he's known people where it lasts 3 to 4 months, which would be great. If it works, then I have to get an ablation, and he says since I'm hypermobile, it's really, really tricky. So there's only one guy he trusts to do it, and that's in Philadelphia. And he didn't say anything about my port. I really like my doctor, Dr. Risen. He's awesome. So yeah, I'm just laying here trying to recover. So I am sitting up now and feeling kind of dizzy. So during the procedure, I was kind of like, making a weird noise. I know some of y'all are curious as to what Harlow was doing during that, because Judd was up here holding my hand, and she was doing that.
Well, she came over.
Yeah. She did that. She did get up at one point to come over and check on me, but we just put her back and told her to stay, and she did. So she did well. Dr. Rosen was like, you did really well for someone who was anxious about the needles. Like, really? I was making some weird noises and I was passed out, but it went well. I am, like, dizzy, but y'all, my neck is not hurting. This is the first time in years I'm not having pain in my neck. I'm still a little bit sore in my shoulders, but it's not as much as it usually is. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. And the dizziness I'm feeling is not the cervicogenic dizziness, like on a boat feeling. It's the lightheadedness, and they said that's totally typical from this procedure. So I'm just waiting for it to dissipate, which it is. I feel like it's getting less and less. I'm able to stand, yay! So I'm not so dizzy anymore from that. Nauseous a little bit, but that's also leaving. My neck hurts when I turn my head, but not as much as it usually does. So this is awesome that I'm already getting relief from it. Judd and I actually get to leave now because they called me and said that my internist appointment was canceled because there's no new information from appointments here at Mayo for her to go over with me. But I wanted to talk to her about my allergies, and they said I never mentioned allergies in my initial evaluation last year, so she can't see me about it. I'd have to schedule a new appointment. Shut up. So they canceled it, and this is what I was saying about Mayo Clinic. They are awesome in some departments and in certain ways, and in other ways they're not so great, but that's life. And I am going to see that person in Gainesville who will hopefully know about mast cells, so it's all right, I guess. But Judd and I get to leave now. We're gonna go to our favorite sushi place, which happens to be here in Jacksonville. So I'm using Harlow for a little bit of counterbalance. My vet cleared her growth plates are sealed and her joints are awesome. But I can't do full weight yet because she hasn't been fully conditioned. I'm like adding more and more weight. And so right now she's just doing very minimal weight. I'm pulling up not very hard at all because she's still training for it, but it's still very helpful when I'm dizzy like this. So we are done at Mayo Clinic for this trip. High five, babe, we did it. Boom. All right, word of caution for those of you with service dogs going to Mayo in Jacksonville. It is riddled with therapy dogs, and you will get mistaken for a therapy dog handler, and people will come up and ask to pet your dog because they think it's a therapy dog. So what I did is I got this Please Ignore Us leash wrap from Patience in Love 143 on Etsy. That seemed to help a little bit. Also, I didn't wear green or put Harlow in green. She's always in pink because the volunteers wear green and so do their dogs. And also, the dogs are usually really well behaved, but a few of them like go ballistic and want to play with your service dog when they see it. So just beware. I always make sure I have a lot of distance between me and the therapy dogs. Never ever had an aggressive one, just like overly friendly. So anyways, now we are on our way to our favorite sushi place. Yummy sushi! Woo, let's go! The best sushi, chicken tempura rolls, and Judd got a bento box with steak teriyaki. Well, lunch was delicious, but we are on the way to Orlando now, and I'm feeling rather exhausted. That procedure definitely wore me out because I worked myself up so much, so I'm probably gonna rest or nap in the car. And Orlando's only 2.5 hours away. Woo! Judd's getting us our boiled peanuts from our favorite boiled peanut place, and I'm on hold with yet another doctor trying to sort out appointments. This is like a majority of my life right here. So that phone call was for the mast cell specialist in Gainesville that my POTS doctor referred me to, and basically they want a bunch of records from like Mayo and my other doctors, and then she looks over everything and decides if she'll take me on as a patient. So fingers crossed she will take me, and I am enjoying some boiled peanuts. They are really good. And also, my neck is starting to feel a little bit tender now, and what I was experiencing relief from was the lidocaine they put in there, and now that it's worn off, it's a little tender. They told me by Friday we'll really be able to tell how the nerve block assists me or gives me any relief, so I'm gonna just wait and see how it goes, but fingers crossed this works. She's sticking her head in the cooler. Well, we made it to Judd's mom's house. Judd, thank you for driving and staying awake. And then unloading the entire car. What would I do without you?
Probably die.
Well, we are officially in Orlando. We'll be here the next few days, just visiting family, which will be nice. And yeah, I slept the last half hour in the car. I'm exhausted from that procedure and all the traveling.
Still going for it.
She's gonna eat the whole thing if I let her. Well, now that I've eaten and I'm more rested, I can give you all more details on the procedure I had, my nerve block. So basically, the 2 needles went here and here, straight up. And no, it didn't hit bone. It goes straight into the area where there's a ton of inflammation. You can actually hear it crunching because of the inflammation, and It's a full syringe. I think that's 10 cc's, and so it's a lot of volume, and that's what makes it feel so weird. There wasn't really a lot of pain. It was just a lot of pressure, and I even felt it a little bit in my ears, and I definitely became super lightheaded and dizzy, partly because I was holding my breath. The oxygen really helped that they gave me. So if they offer that, take it. And then partly because of my POTS, and I already have dizziness and the cervicogenic dizziness from my neck issues, and then also because that's just a typical side effect. I also became nauseous. That's also a side effect apparently, but it dissipated within 20 minutes. I was dizzy for about 30 to 45 minutes from the procedure itself. It did take me a while to be able to stand up, but they let me lay down and take my time, which was great. So really the main issues was the dizziness and the pressure, but it only took 5 seconds to push in the stuff and then it was done. So yeah, it's really weird to have a needle go in your head, but it's not so much pain, just that weird feeling of pressure. And I already had a friend that I talked to ask me, did you pass out from the pain? Because like I said, I almost passed out. No, it was from the dizziness and just me holding my breath. So don't worry, it's not as bad as I thought it was. So if you're gonna get one, don't sweat it. So the 3 things we're looking for improvement is my neck pain, my cervicogenic dizziness, which is where I feel like I'm on a boat, kind of swaying, kind of vertigo type thing, and then the tension that I get here in my shoulders and upper back from my neck pain. And what I experienced the immediate relief from was actually the lidocaine, the numbing agent. So that when that wore off, I did get tender again, but they said by Friday we should really be able to tell how it affects me. So I'm just gonna see how things progress. I think I'm getting a little bit of relief now anyways though. My neck's not hurting as much as it usually does, but it is tender in this area, probably from getting a giant needle shoved in it, but again, it's not as bad as you think. So I am exhausted. Judd's upstairs taking a nap already, so I'm gonna go join him. Thanks for joining me on my very first nerve block, which I'm really proud of myself for going through with it because I hate needles, but again, not as bad as you'd think, and I definitely do it again to get this type of relief. And well, that's it. Thank you for joining me on my adventure.